Welcome back you guys to Igcse Math Solution. Today we'll be solving the Specimen Paper 4 of 2020. Because it's going to be a long paper, let's just get started. Kristen and Stephanie share some money in the ratio 3 is to 2. Kristen receives 72%. So we know that Kristen and Stephanie, they share the money in the ratio 3 is to 2, which means, and we also know that Kristen receives $72, which means that Kristen is getting 72%, and let us just assume that Stephanie gets some X. Now we know that this ratio has to be 3 is to 2, which means 72 by X should be equal to 3 upon 2. We'll just cross multiply and cancel a 3 over here. We get 24. So X is equal to $48. Next, Christian spends 45% of his $72 on a computer game. What is the price of the game? So 45% percentage, when we have to convert it into a fraction, it is just divide by 100, because percent means out of 100. So 45 out of 100 of $72. This turns out to be $32.4. So the answer is 32.4. One thing that you guys will notice here is that we have a lot of sub questions. In paper 2 we normally have standalone questions, but here we have sub questions. So we cannot skip questions. That is what I want to say. And also you need to understand that attempt the paper in the given order itself, because that is the best way. IGCSE plans it out that way. The easier questions are given earlier, and as you move on the difficulty level increases. Moving on to the next question, Christian also buys a meal for $8.4. Calculate the fraction of the $72 Christian has left after buying the computer game and the meal. So, how much money does he have left? It is 72 minus 32.4 plus 8.4. Now, this is the money left divided by 72. So now how much is the money left with him? It is 72 minus 40.8, the whole by 72, which is 31.2 by 72. So this is 13 by 30. Next, Stephanie buys a book in a sale for $19.2. This sale price is after a reduction of $20. See, here what they are saying is $19.2 is actually after a reduction of $20, which means this is only 80% of the price, 80% of actual price. So we know that 80% is 19.2. So how much will be 100%? We need to calculate the original price. Let that be X. So after cross multiplying, 80x is 19.2 times 100. Cancel a 0 over here. We get X as 192 by 8. So X turns out to be $24. Original price is $24. Boris invests $550 at a rate of 2%, and this is simple interest. So simple interest, we have a formula for that, which is PNR by 100. PNR by 100. What I need you to notice over here, that here in simple interest, when we are calculating that, we are calculating the interest part. So we need the value of the investment, which is the principal along with this investment, principal with the interest. So firstly, let us just calculate the simple interest. The interest here, the P and R. P denotes the principal amount which I invest. N is for how many years we are investing that, and R is rate of interest. So it is 550 times 10 times 2 by 100. Let's just cancel these two zeros, and my interest comes out to be $110. So my total is principal plus the interest. So my principal was 550. I get an interest of 110. Total value is 660. Getting on to the question. Marlene invests $550 at a rate of 1.9% per year compound interest. So what is the value of the investment at the end of 10 years? Now he wants the value. Value means whatever I had the principal plus the interest. But one thing to note over here is, because we are finding compound interest, and for compound interest the formula directly gives us the value, that is the amount itself. Amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100, the whole raised to N. Once again, P is the principal amount which I invest, and R is the rate of interest which I receive, and N signifies the number of years for which I am investing the amount. So what I get is amount is 550 into 1 plus 1.9 by 100 raised to 10. So amount is 550 into 1.019 raised to 10. This works out to be $663.90. So it is 663.90. Now Hans is investing $550 again at a rate of interest X, compound interest, and at the end of 10 years this is the value. Okay, so we are using the same formula, which is A is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 raised to N. Now my amount, that is 638.30, that is equal to 550 into 1 plus X by 100 raised to 10. So 638.30 divided by 550, this is equal to 1 plus X by 100 raised to 10. So now I'll take the 10th root on both sides. So what I get is 638.30 by 550, the whole raised to 1 by 10, that is equal to 1 plus X by 100. So this value works approximately out as 1.015. This is 1 plus X by 100. Now I'll subtract 1 from both the sides. So I get 0.015, that is X by 100. So I'll just take this 100 which is in the denominator on the RHS side to the LHS. So this will imply that X is 1.5%. So x is equal to 1.5%. Median is the middle value of the given data. So because I have values up till 200, my middle value will occur as the 100th data of my total data. So I'll just draw a line going till here, which is somewhat here, and that data I'll just find it here. So I get my median to be 400 meter cube. Now interquartile range is nothing but upper quartile minus lower quartile. Now similar way as we calculated median was 50%. Upper quartile is 75% of the given data. Now because I have 200 values, 75% is 150. So again I'll draw a line at 150 and then find the corresponding value at 150th position, and lower quartile will be 50. So the my value at 50th position, and I'll take the difference of those two and I'll get my interquartile range. For 60th percentile, what I need to do is 60th percentile means 60 by 100 times what is the total data? 200. So my 120th term. So here I'll mark on 120 and drag a line till where my data point matches that 120. Now I'll find the corresponding actual value which corresponds to 120th term. It is somewhat 410 meter cube. So it turns out to be 410. Now I want to estimate the number of students who gave their volume greater than 300. In this case, I'll go from 300 where this meets the data point. Now going back to find how many students had given. So this is in between 20 and 40. So we can say that around 30 students. I want the students who had estimated more than 300, means after 30 each one had given an estimate of greater than 300 meter cube. So my answer will be 170. 200 minus 30, because the first 30 students they had given their estimate as less than 300. So my answer will be 170 students. Now we have to calculate the mean of the data. Whenever we are working with grouped frequencies, like in here we have been given groups. So for mean, we assume that the frequency, because we have given a frequency of 32 and the area is between 20 to 60, we can safely assume that all these 32 values were actually 40. How did I get 40 now? So it is simple that all that we are calculating over here is we'll get the middle value of the given frequency. Because we have the range as 20 to 60, the middle value will be 40. For this next set, my middle value will be 80. Similarly, 125 and 200. So these are my middle values. Now because this is a group data and I don't have the exact information, here what I am assuming, see, because we have been asked estimate the mean. So my estimate is all the data points given in this first range, I'll assume all of them to be 40. So my mean will be 32 times 40 plus 64 times 80 plus 80 times 125 plus 24 times 200. The whole divided by 200 because we had 200 students. The mean value is 106 meters square. Now we have to complete this histogram, guys. What they are asking you over here is, see, either you know this part or you can make a guess. Because I had 24 data points, the frequency was 24 for the 150 to 200 250 part. So here between 150 to 250 I had around 20, the frequency was about 24. So, and the frequency density, if you see, it is somewhat above zero point 0.2 because I had a range for that group as 100. They have divided it, and frequency density is frequency divided by the range of the given group, 24 by 100. Now I'll just calculate the frequency density. I'll use a different color over here. Let me use red. So it will be 32 by 40.8. Then I have 64 by 40, which is 1.6. 80 by 50, again 1.6, and lastly I have 0.24. So I'll just show you one. First we have 20 to 60. 20 to 60, I have 20 over here, 60 is somewhere here. My frequency density is 0.8, so my top bar will correspond to 0.8, and this is one of the bars of my histogram. Similarly, I'll plot other points. Now, two students are chosen at random from these students who estimated the area of windows to be more than 100. So, how many students were there who gave their estimate as more than 100? More than 100 is this and this, which means 104 students. So, we have the number of students that we are considering over here will be out of 104, because they said that students are selected from those who estimated the area to be more than 100. Now find the probability that one of the two students estimates the area to be greater than 150 and the other students estimates the area to be 150 or lesser than that. So between 100 to 150 I had 80 students. Now from 150 to 250 I had 24 students. Now the probability will be, it can be that I have a first student, let let that be F, and my second student. So my first student can be between 100 to 150, and the second student can be of the group 150 to 250, or it can be the other way, which means first student is of 150 to 250 range and the other one is of second student is of 100 to 150. So keeping that in mind, I'll calculate the probability for one case, and then I'll just multiply it by 2. So what I actually get is 2 times, first I have a student, I have one of them will be out of 80, so it will be 80 out of 104 times 24. Now this will be out of 103. Why is that? Because I have already chosen one student. One student is chosen and that student is out. So I have remaining 103. So this is the answer to this question. Now we are on question 3. This is a graph question and this is going to be long because usually the graph question they have a lot of sub questions, as in you have to solve using the given graph itself. So let's just start. Firstly, input these values of x. So f of 5, that is 20 by 5 plus 5. This is 9. Similarly, f of 8 will be 20 by 8 plus 8. So you get 10.5. Or if you want to notice something, and then I'll bring this to your notice, that if you in this equation of f of x, instead if you find f of minus x, then you can see that what you will get is minus 20 by x minus x, which is the same as minus of f of x. So we have established an equation that f of minus x is equal to minus f of x. So f of minus 5, so what we know is f of minus x is equal to minus f of x. Now because I was given f of minus 5, I know that f of minus 5 is equal to minus f of 5. So f of minus 5 is minus 9, that is equal to minus f of 5. This implies f of 5 is 9. That is what we have got over here. So yes, this is a very small thing. I just thought I'll bring this to your notice. So whenever you solve these papers, these small things, you can use it to verify your answer and cross check whether what you have got is correct and consistent with the data given. So moving on, now to plot these points, what I have done is I have used a graphing software. Actually, you can just plot the points by your hand and try to draw a smooth curve and connect those points. And do remember that it is not necessary that you have to connect all these points in one single go, because you can see this is one shape and there is no connection between this branch and the other branch. So you don't have to necessarily connect these two, because I have seen a lot of students do it, that once they have drawn this branch, they somehow want to connect it to the other branch because they haven't seen broken graphs like these. So my suggestion is, if you have something which looks or appears to be broken, then let be, it can be correct, and mostly it is. Just follow the points which you have been asked to plot. Now this is what I have used is, the name of the software is Desmos software. I'll put a link down in the description so you can find the software over there. It is a very good software, as in if you want to cross verify or check whether the graph which you have drawn is correct or not, you can use this software. The name is Desmos. Moving to the first question, they are saying that use the graph to solve the equation f of x equals 11. So here the graph which I have drawn is y equals f of x. Now because f of x is equal to 11, I know that y will be equal to 11. So I have got two lines. One graph is y equal to f of x, which I have already drawn, and the other one is y equals 11. So I just have to see where these two graphs intersect, and those will be the solutions. So f of x, this is the f of x line graph, and I have to see where is it equal to 11. So if I draw a line at 11, I know that this is this is one point and this is the other point. Because I am using a software over here, I cannot pinpoint and say the exact answer, but I think it is around, one of the answers is around 2 and the other one is around 8. So please don't quote me on this answer, but I think that this will be approximately 2 and this is approximately 8. Now k is a prime number and f of k has no solutions. Find the possible values of k. Now similarly, f of x is equal to k, we have to find out that for what values of y, when I draw a line, suppose this is some y equals to k. So I want to know that what is the minimum value of k so that I don't get any intersection between this y equal to k line and my other graph, which is y equal to f of x. So the minimum, what I can see with my graph is, I think it is y equal to 9. So this is y equal to 9, and it is y equal to 9 over here, and on the other extreme it is y equal to minus 9. Now we come on to question D, which says k is a prime number and f of x equal to k has no solution. So prime number, we have to draw a line y equal to k such that k is a prime number and we don't get any solution. So this clearly means that y equal to k will be a line below this point, which is the point of minima. So this looks like it is, I can assume that this line is y equal to 9. Any answers below that will not give me any value. As in, if I have y equal to 7, because 7 is less than 9, the line will be formed somewhere here and I won't get any intersection with f of x equal to y, that graph. So I won't get any solution. And I want that this value, which is my k, should be a prime number. So k can be 2, 3, 5, and 7. These are the four values. So the four values of k are 2, 3, 5, and 7. Next, the gradient of the graph at y equal to f of x at the point 2, comma 12 is minus 4. Write down the coordinates of the other point on the graph where the gradient is minus 4. So here actually they are asking you to solve it using the graph itself, but I would prefer that you use differentiation. My f of x given is 20 by x plus x. So when I differentiate this, I get, I can write this term as 20x raised to minus 1. Minus 1 will jump to the forward with the coefficient and the power will be reduced by 1. So I get minus 20 x raised to minus 2 plus, when I differentiate x, I just get 1. So I can write this as 1 minus 20 by x square. This is my dy by dx, and I want this to be minus 4. So what I get is 20 by x square 1 plus 4. So 20 equals 5x square So I take 5 common, I get x square minus 4 is 0. So x is equal to plus or minus 2. Now we know that at x equal to positive 2 we get a slope of minus 4. Now we also know that at x equal to minus 2 we get a slope of negative 4. And because we had earlier found that f of minus x equals minus f of x, so at x equal to minus 2 y will be minus 12. So this is how you can use your information which you get just by looking at the data and trying to make out what you can. Now the equation f of x equal to x square can be written something like this. So my f of x is 20a by x plus x, that is equal to x square. What I'll do now is multiply the whole thing on the LHS as well as the RHS by x. So I get 20 plus x square equals x cube. Now we'll just take everything to one side. We get x cube minus x square minus 20 equal to 0. And by comparing it with this, we get p is minus 1 and q is minus 20. That is what we had to show here, and we have shown it. Next they have asked us to draw the graph of y equal to x square for x less than equal to 4 and greater than equal to minus 4. So on this very graph I'll just make a very simplified freehand drawing of y equal to x square. So y equal to x square at 4, it will be 16. So I'll just mark a few points here. For 3 I have 9, so it comes out something like this, and it is similar over here as well. So this is how y equal to x square looks somewhat. Now what they've asked us to do is use the graph to solve the equation y equal to f of x, which is this red line, red graph, and this black one is y equal to x square. This is y equal to x square. They have one intersection over here. That intersection point is this, which you will get when you actually solve and draw the graphs by yourself. The answers will differ a little bit, but that is no issue if you have drawn the points properly and you have sketched the graph with a smooth freehand drawing. So you will get a point which is the intersection of the two curves. Next they are saying the diagram shows a sketch of the graph this, and p is a point n comma 0. Write down the value of n. See now, because we know that this graph is actually y equal to x cube minus x square minus 20, and if we substitute the point p, what do we get? 0 equals n cube minus n square minus 20. Now if you remember in the previous question, what we just found was answer to this. We found what is x equal to. Now we want to know what is n equal to. If you just replace the n with an x, you will get the same thing, and all you have to do is write the value which we got in the previous question. See, whenever a equation which is in one variable and it is equal to 0, so whenever a graph crosses the y-axis, that is it crosses y equal to 0, those are called the roots. So this point is a root of this polynomial, if you say. So we just found out that in the previous question by checking where the intersection is of for y equal to f of x and f of x equal to x square. So all you have to understand over here is that if you substitute this point, because they say that p lies on this curve, and you get this equation, and this equation is just what you found out in the previous question. Here the next question, they are asking us to draw the reflection of triangle T in the line x equal to 0. X equal to 0 is this line, the y axis. A lot of people get confused in this, that but x equal to 0 is this line, the y axis. Why is that? Because x is 0 only on this line. Here the coordinate is 0 comma 1, here it is 0 comma 2, 0 comma 3. So similarly this y axis actually is x equal to 0. Now to draw a reflection, what I used to do is, from this line, from this vertex, draw a straight line till this mirror. So you cover two boxes. Now just cover those two boxes again after the mirror line. So this is one vertex. Now for this second vertex I'll cover four boxes. So four boxes in this direction as well. Here for this top vertex again four boxes. So four boxes once again. Now this is what the reflection will look like. Now we have to draw the rotation of triangle T through minus 2 comma minus 1. Minus 2 comma minus 1 is this point here. Rotate this triangle 90-degree clockwise. Now clock is moving in this direction, this, so we have to take this 90 degrees clockwise. So what I try to do is again this box method, which I call. So what does this box method mean? So I have, so this is two boxes like this and one down, two to the left and one down. Now I'll just rotate this figure that I've drawn, two to the left and one down, by 90 degrees. So this will be like two to the top and one left. So my this point has rotated and come over here. Now for this vertex, this is like just connect this point of rotation to the vertex. So I have four boxes, a straight line. Now take this 90 degrees. What will happen? It will come over here. Four boxes. One, two, three, four. This is another vertex. Third vertex is two to the left and four down. So again flip this. You get two to the top and four down here. So this will be the rotation of the triangle T. Mapping of triangle T onto U. First thing which we have to notice is there is no rotation, because if there was one point on the top, one vertex on the top, the right angle is still in the same position, which shows that the triangle has only been translated. And how many boxes has it been translated? Let me just first clear this mess a little bit. So this is the top vertex. So when we have translation, each of the vertex will be translated by the same. So we'll just find it for one. It goes from, this point is minus 4 comma minus 2 to this point, which is minus 3 comma 7. So it has been translated by 7 to the top and 1 to the right. this has been translated 9 to the top and 1 to the right. So to describe the single transformation from T to U, we write it as 1 9 in the matrix form. Here 1 represents the number of boxes that we shift towards the right, and 9 represents the number of boxes that we shift upwards. So instead of going to the top or shifting to the right, if we had to go to the left or downwards, we'll just introduce a negative sign in the respective places. As in, the upper number denotes how much to the right, and the lower number denotes how much up. You can remember it this way in the matrix form. And if you have a left, then you have a negative sign over here, or if you want to go downwards, a negative sign on the bottom number. Perimeter of the rectangle is 80 centimeters and the area of the rectangle is A. Now what we have been given, the breadth is given as x. Let me just assume that the length is y. So I have perimeter is 2 times x plus y is 80. So x plus y is 40. And area A is x times y. So now because this y was introduced by me, I'll just try to remove it. I'll write y as a by x. Divide this by x. On both sides you get y as a by x. So y is a by x equal to 40. Now multiplying throughout by an x. So we get x square plus a is 40x. If we rearrange it, we get x square minus 40x plus a equal to 0. That is what we wanted. When a is 300, we have to solve by factorizing. X square minus 40x plus 300. Now we have to break this 300 into some factors, which when we add them we get 40 or minus 40 actually, to be precise. So I can see that write 300 as 30 times 10. I can write 300 as 30 times 10. So let me just break this as x square minus 10x minus 30x plus 300 equal to 0. So first I'll take x common from these two terms. I get x minus 10. Now I'll take minus 30 to be common. So I get x minus 10. Now what I'll do is I'll take x minus 10 as common. X minus 10 times x minus 30 is equal to 0. Now because this has to be 0, either one of the factors has to be 0. So this means that either x minus 10 is 0, so x is 10, or x minus 30 is 0, signifying that x is 30. So the two answers are 10 and 30. When a is 200, we have to solve the quadratic equation using the formula. So we get x square minus 40x plus a equal to 0. This a is given to us as 200. So we'll write it as x square minus 40x plus 200 is equal to 0. So the formula is my, so here my value of b is minus 40, a is 1, c is 200. So x is minus b plus or minus square root of b square, which is 1600 minus 4ac square root, and this whole is divided by 2a. So we get x to be 40 plus or minus square root of 800 by 2. So x is 20 plus or minus 10 root 2. This is 5.85, 34.14. Here one basic formula which we'll require is speed is distance upon time. Rearranging this, I get time is distance upon speed. So let me assume that t1 is the speed, is the time taken while going to the destination. So t1 will be 200 by x. Notice that everything is in kilometers or kilometers per hour. So my time I'll get that in hours. And t2 is the time taken while returning. While returning, the distance was again 200, but this time the speed was x plus 10, because here I have only x in the denominator, so my overall the term will be greater. So difference in time, if I take t1 minus t2, then I'll get the difference to be positive. So I have 200 by x minus 200 by x plus 10. So let me just take LCM. Firstly, what I'll do is I'll take 200 common, and I get x plus 10 minus x, the whole divided by x times x plus 10. When we take LCM, what I did is I multiplied x plus 10 over here and x over here. Now in the denominator I'll have both x and x plus 10. So this plus x and minus x gets cancelled. So in the numerator what I have remaining is 2000 by x into x plus 10. Now find the difference between the time taken for each of the two journeys when x is 80. I have to give my answer in minutes and seconds. See, this was here in hours. So delta t, which is difference in time, was 2000 divided by x into x plus 10. Because x is 80, firstly I'll just cancel these zeros. Two zeros gone. So I have 20 divided by 8 times 9. But this is given in hours. I want it in first calculating it in minutes. Again, I'll divide by 3. I get 3 and 20. Now I'll divide by 4. So this is 20. This becomes 5. Again by 2. So what I get is 50 by 3. If I look closely and write this as a mixed fraction, what I can write this as, 16 plus 2 by 3, and this is in minutes. So firstly I'll take this whole 16 minutes, and this 2 by 3 of a minute I'll convert to seconds. So that will be 2 by 3 again times 60, which is 40 seconds. So total difference in time is 16 minutes 40 seconds. 16 minutes 40 seconds. We have to find MQ in terms of P or R. So OP, this is P and this is R. MQ, because this is the midpoint and PT is to TQ is divided into 2 is to 1. MQ is actually, if OP is P, then from R to Q is also P. So this whole thing is actually P in this direction. And because I want MQ, M is the midpoint, so MQ is P by 2. These vector problems, we just have to see which all will be equal and what direction will be same. Now they are asking us for MT. MT is this, so I can write MT vector is equal to MQ vector plus QT vector. So MQ we already have as P by 2, and QT will actually be R but in the opposite direction. So I can write that TQ is R by 3, because I'll divide this into three parts. One is this TQ part and the other is PT part. So TQ vector form is R by 3. Because I need QT, the direction is reversed, so it will be negative R by 3. So P by 2 minus R by 3, this is 3P minus 2R by 6. 3P minus 2R by 6. Next, finally I want OT. OT. Now OT is OR plus RM plus MT. So OT is OR plus RM plus MT. One thing that you need to note, that after every successive question in these subparts which is given, we are making use of the thing that we just found previously. Like after finding MT, we knew that we can use MT, so here we are making use of MT. So OT, we actually broke it down into these three vectors. Now OR is R, RM is P by 2, just like MQ. RM is P by 2 and MT is P by 2 minus R by 3. So we get this as P plus 2R by 3, which is the same as 3P plus 2R by 3. OT is 3P plus 2R by 3. Now RQ and OT are extended and they meet at U. Find the position vector of U. Firstly, position vector of U means OU, because position vector is vector from the origin in terms of P and R. Okay. RQ and OT are extended, so they meet somewhere over here, which is U. Now because we have only extended these, MQ is the same as QU and MT will be the same as TU. Now I have to find the position vector of U. Position vector of U is OT plus TU, or instead of TU, I want to find OU. OU is OT plus TU. Now OT, I already have that as 3P plus 2R by 3. Now TU, give this a thought for a moment. What do you think is TU? I can write TU as TQ plus QU. So for this part, I can write it as TQ plus QU. So what TQ is R by 3 plus QU is nothing but it is the same as MQ. which is p by 2. So OU is firstly OT, which is 3p plus 2r by 3, plus TU is p by 2 plus r by 3. So again I'll just continue over here. You get 3p by 2 plus r, which is 3p plus 2r by 2. 3p plus 2r by 2. This is OU, which is position vector of u. The value of MT is square root of 180. To find a value of a determinant like this, all you need to do is square the elements and add them, equal to 180, because there is actually a root sign. This is actually this. This is the value of MT. So I also have square root of 180. Now taking square on both sides, I get 4k square plus k square is 180. 5k square is 180. Dividing by 5, I get k square as 36. So k is actually plus minus 6. But they are asking us the positive value of k. So positive value of k is 6. Here we have to solve when f of x is equal to g of 1. F of x is 2x plus 1. G of 1 means 1 square plus 4. So I'll just subtract 1 from both sides. So 2x is equal to 4. X is 2. Value of x is 2. Now you have to find f inverse x. Now first let me write f of x as y. Y equals 2x plus 1. Now inverse of x means currently I have y as a function of x. Now I'll write x as a function of y, which is making x as the subject. So I take x, y equal y minus 1 as 2x. Now I'll divide by 2. So I get y minus 1 by 2 is x. Now we have f inverse of x. This is actually f inverse of y, but I want it in terms of x. So I'll just replace y wherever I have y with x. So f inverse of x is x minus 1 by 2. G of f of x in its simplest term. G of f of x. We have been given g of x. So wherever I have x, I'll replace it with f of x. So actually I used to have x square, but now I'll have f of x the whole square plus 4. So f of x is 2x plus 1 the whole square plus 4. So when I'll open this, I'll get 4x square plus 4x plus 1 plus 4, which is 4x square plus 4x plus 5. Now I have to solve h inverse of x, which is equal to 0.5. Again first I'll find h inverse. So using that same trick, I get y equals 2 raised to x. Now to find when we have exponents, we have a function known as log. So just to give you a brief over here, I'll soon be making a video on this about logs and natural logs. So do remember to subscribe to my channel so that you get notified about it as well when I make a new video. So we write it as log y to the base 2 is x. Now again I have it in terms of, I have x in terms of y. So this is f, this is actually h inverse of y. But what do I want? I want h inverse of x. So h inverse of x is, h inverse of x is log x to the base 2, which is half. So again, when I want to isolate x, this function actually means this base. So actually I can write x as 2 raised to 0.5. What does this function mean? What power, when I have my base as 2 and I raise it to a power of 0.5, what do I get? So this is 2 raised to 0.5. When I have something written in this form, if I have log of a to the base b is equal to c, it is actually meaning a is equal to b raised to c. So this is x is nothing but square root 2, which is 1.41. Now they are asking us 1 upon h of x is 2 raised to x. So 1 upon 2 raised to x is 2 raised to kx. So now when I'll take this to the top, I'll have a negative sign in the power. 2 raised to minus x is 2 raised to kx. So my value of comparing the coefficients, the exponents, I get k as minus 1. First we have this 3 cos x equal to 1. We have to solve this equation. So what we get, if by dividing by 3, I get cos x is 1 by 3. Now next what I am going to do is actually I'll take cos inverse. So cos inverse of cos x is just x, and on the RHS I get cos inverse of 1 by 3. Now one thing to note over here, cos x equal to 1 by 3. 1 by 3 is 0.33, so it will be somewhere around this location. This is the point. So I'll get some value for the angle. Let us just say that it is some 70 degrees, some 70 degrees. X is nearly 70. But if you extend this line of 1 by 3, you see that you get a second value as well. And even by seeing the graphs and the answer that they expect from you is two answers. So you also need this second answer. When you look at this closely, you will see that this distance, which is actually x, from 0 to x, this much is x. So this distance from this second value till 360, this is also x. So if the first value I take it as x, now this second value which I assume, let that be pi degrees. So y is actually 360 minus x. So two answers, whatever this cos inverse 1 by 3, that value which is x, and 360 minus x. But make sure that you don't write x, you have to write cos inverse of 1 by 3 after calculating it in the calculator. Now on the same grid I have to sketch sin x. Sine of 0 is 0, sine of 90 is 1, sine 180 is 0, sine 270 is minus 1, sine 360 is 0. So just sketch a smooth curve between these points. And yes, I'm actually proud of myself. This graph was quite curvier than I thought. Next we need to calculate AD. We have two lengths and one angle. Just it should strike you straight away that we need to use cosine rule. AD square is AB square plus BD square minus 2 times AB into BD into cos theta. Here, a few things to note that whatever cos theta, whatever angle I have, the side square which I put on once on the LHS will always be the opposite side, the side which is opposite to the angle. Now because I have cos 40 and this 40 is angle DAB, so the side to the left hand side of the equal to sign will be AD square. So let that AD square be x square, which is equal to 55 square plus 70 square minus 2 into 55 into 70 into cos of 40 degrees. So you get x to be about 45.01. Next, what they're asking us is calculate BC. Here, to calculate BC, I have one side and one angle only. Now I am assuming this triangle DBC. One thing additional information is AB is parallel to DC. AB is parallel to DC. So this angle BDC, this will also be 40 alternate angles. So now I have two angles and two sides. So I'll use sine rule, which says BC upon sine 40 degrees is equal to 70 by sine 32 degrees. Now BC is 70 times sine 40 degrees by sine 32 degrees. Also make sure that when you're inputting these values, they are put as degrees and not radians. Normally whenever we have our calculators, you input the value and it goes in radians, and what the answer you have when the setting is changed, you get a very vague answer as compared to what you would normally expect. So just check the settings before going into exams, so it will be beneficial. 84.91 meters. Now I have to calculate the area of ABCD. You can use the formula half AB sine C. Half AB sine C. Here C is the angle between A and B. So I have this side and this side, and I have this angle. So I'll area of ABD, that triangle will have an area of half into 55 times 70 times sine of 40 degrees. Similarly, even here we can use that. I have this is 40, this is 32. I can calculate this. DVC will be 180 minus 40 minus 32. So I get 180 minus 72, which is 108 degrees. 108 degrees. So again using the same formula, half times A times we just calculated BC times sine of 108 degrees. Now add these both terms and you will get the area. Now we need to calculate the shortest distance from A to BD. Now because this is shortest distance, one thing for fact which I know is, suppose this is the shortest distance. I'll just make the line a little bit better. So my shortest distance will be somewhat like this, and this has to be a right angle, because if I make a slant line which is not at right angles and this is at some other angle, I can always bring it to 90 degrees. After that you can see that again it will get bigger and bigger as I go away from 90 degrees. So shortest distance is when it is perpendicular to the given line. So now if I see I have this angle as 40 degrees, this is my perpendicular and this hypotenuse is 55. I need to calculate this distance. Let this be E. I'll just draw this triangle over here. Assume that this is a right angle triangle. I have a right angle at E. Then 40 degrees is, that is side B and A. 55, AB is 55. I have to calculate AE. So sine of 40 degrees is equal to sine is, you can remember this, so ka toa. For sine you have opposite upon hypotenuse, for cos you have adjacent upon hypotenuse, for tan you have opposite upon adjacent. So because we have sine, we have so, which is opposite AE upon hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is 55. To calculate AE is nothing but 55 into sine of 40 degrees. Shortest distance is 55 times sine 40 degrees. We get this as 35.35. Simple use of trigonometry. Now show that the volume of a metal sphere of radius this is this. We have the volume given as 4 by 3 pi times r cube is 15 cube. Now just input this into your calculator and make sure that you use the value of pi as given in the calculator. Don't try to use 3.14, otherwise you won't get it to as many significant figures as you want it to be. So just use the preset value of pi. That will be better because it will provide you better answers. So you get this as 14137.17. Now because you have to round it off to four significant figures, my four significant figures are till here. Now because the next digit is a 7, I'll round it up. So this can be almost rounded up to 14140. Now the sphere is placed inside an empty cylindrical tank of radius 25 and height 60. Calculate the volume of water needed to fill the tank. So volume of water needed to fill the tank will be volume of cylinder minus the volume of the sphere. So what is the volume of cylinder? Volume of cylinder is pi r square h, which is pi times 25 square times 60. 117809 minus volume of sphere. We just calculated that to be about 14140. So just subtract it and write. Now the sphere is removed and we get that the volume now just covers a height d. Now because we know that the sphere is removed, so this reduced, this portion which is empty at the top of the cylinder, this volume will be equal to volume of sphere. So volume empty is equal to volume of sphere. So this height, this will be 60 minus d. So now because this empty part is another cylinder, a smaller cylinder, so it will be pi r square h volume. So pi times 25 square times h. Height is 60 minus d. 60 minus d. And volume of sphere is 14140. So I get 60 minus d as 14140 by 625 pi. Now I get d as 60 minus 14140 by 625 pi. The cone has a radius of 5 and a height 12x. Sphere has a radius of if the cone has the same total surface area as the sphere. So total surface area of a cone will be the curved surface area plus this area of a circle. So surface area of a cone is pi rl plus pi r square. This r is actually of cone, so let me just write rc over here. This will be equal to 4 pi r square, and this r is for the sphere, so let me write rs. So what we get is pi 5x. Now this is a right triangle. This is 12x. Here I have a right angle, and this is 5x. You see, this is a right angle. I need the slant height L. So slant height L square is 25x square plus 144x square, which is 169x square L square. Now I take square root on both sides. I get L as 13x. So pi into 5x times 13x plus pi into 5x whole square, that is equal to 4 pi r square. Just cancel the pi throughout. You get 13 pi is 65x square plus 25x square equal to 4r square. So you get 90x square is 4r square. Now divide the whole by 4. 45x square by 2 is equal to r square. Now a curve has this equation. We have to find the turning point. So turning points is where f dash x is equal to 0. F dash x is nothing but the first derivative. So because y is equal to this function, I'll take dy by dx is equal to, if you have forgotten, when I have x raised to n, if y is equal to x raised to n, dy by dx, which is differential of y with respect to x, is n times x raised to n minus 1. This n will jump down over here and the power will be reduced by 1. So if I have x cube, I'll write that as 3x square. And because I have individual terms, as in I have a plus or minus sign in between, I can differentiate each and every one separately. So I get differential of x cube as 3x square minus the coefficient will remain as it is, and differential of x square is 2x, and differential of a constant is 0. So I need dy by dx to be 0 to find the turning points. So 3x square minus 12x is 0. So I take 3x as common, I get x minus 4 equal to 0. So this implies x is either 0 or 4. So when x is 0, f of 0, f of 0 means when x is 0, what is the value of y? Value of y is 16. So 0 comma 16 is one turning point, and f of 4 is 4 cube minus 6 into 4 square plus 16. So 4 cube is 64 minus 96 plus 16. So this is 80 minus 96, which is minus 16. Determine whether each of the turning point is a maximum or a minimum. To find out whether a turning point is a maximum or a minimum, what we calculate is d2y by dx2. This is nothing but we write this as f double dash x, second derivative of x, which means that you you find the derivative once and then the second derivative when you differentiate what you have already differentiated. So now what we'll find is f double dash of x, you have 3x square, differentiate that, you get 3 into 2x minus, you have 12 already, and you have to differentiate x. Differential of x is 1, so you get 6x minus 12 as the second differential. So second differential is 6x minus 12. Now if f double dash x is less than 0, then it is a maximum. If f double dash x is greater than 0, then it is a minimum. So when x is 0, f double dash 0 is equal to negative 12, which implies 0 comma 16 is maximum, and f double dash of 4 is actually positive 12. So this implies 4 comma minus 16 is a minimum. And finally we have ended this paper. So do remember to subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. All these links are given down in the description. Also do mail me if you want me to solve some paper before the other ones which I have planned for y'all. And yes, subscribe to my channel, share it with everyone who needs it, guys, because it will be really helpful for them. And yes, remember to subscribe. Thank you for watching. I can't breathe.